Pas une seule encore ne m'a crié bravo. Entre autres fines fleurs, je compte sur ma liste. Rose, ambiant, nom de femmes de journalistes qui me pensent en fichu, mettent toute leur foi à me donner du bonheur une dernière fois. C'est beau, c'est généreux, c'est grand, c'est magnifique, et dans des positions les plus pornographiques. Je leur rends des honneurs, à fesses rabattues, sur des tas de bouillons de paquets d'invendus. Et voilà ce qui fait que comme vos légitimes montrent leurs fesses au peuple ainsi que vos intimes. On peut souvent y lire, imprimer à l'envers, les échos, les petits potins, les faits divers.
We're live, so you know.
Well, I thought a good topic for today might be slut shaming and
Oh my gosh.
promiscuity and that sort of thing.
Are we going to slut shame you?
No, not at all. No. I think the question that might be the title of it is where do you draw the line? You know?
Do you have a story?
How promiscuous is too promiscuous? Where do you draw the line?
Where do I, or are you just like going to tell me? What do you
It'll
think?
come out gradually, but okay. That's just, I think that's a good way to sort of get into it.
Okay.
So I'm asking you now, where do you draw the line? How promiscuous is too promiscuous? Just for an average person, you know, in their 20s, in their mid-20s.
I mean, I'm not going to say how many, because I think in modern times, like morals have kind of gone out the window. So you can't judge someone living today as you would someone living in, you know, times before.
I don't think morals have much to do with it. I mean, not necessarily anyway. I don't think it's a moral question. I think it's a question of just, you know, standards and selectivity. You know, how selective are you? How easy are you? And how desperate are you for sex all the time? How addicted are you? You know what I mean? I don't have any moral
problem.
There's no moral question there for me. You know, I don't see anything morally wrong with being promiscuous, as long as you're not misleading anybody and hurting anybody or doing anything obviously like morally wrong to someone else. As long as it's all consensual and everyone is okay with it, then I don't see why it should ever be a moral question. For me, it's more about like, it's almost like any substance, any sort of addiction that you can have. Where do you draw the line? Where does it obviously become too much? You know?
Okay, so where does it become too much for you?
When you have you're not even interested, you're not attracted to someone's friend, and you fuck them anyway. You're fucking someone, right?
Okay. Let's
I know, I gotta keep
the language.
Yeah, PG-13.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, let's back up a bit. So you have to ask that. We'll cut that part out. So ask the question
We
again.
can't. It's live. Go on.
Sorry, forgot. Who's watching this, by the way?
Who knows? Just keep going.
So what was the question?
What's the line for you?
Well, yeah, let's say you're sleeping with someone, right? You're involved with someone and you have a mutual friend, and you know, you're not even into them that much at all, but you know, you just kind of sleep with them anyway. And then you feel dirty about it, you feel bad about it, and you cry the following day.
As a guy or a girl?
As a girl. Well,
okay.
As a girl.
I don't know.
No, as a guy, it's almost expected behavior. It's like, yeah, I was bored. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe there's a double standard there still, but maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe a guy wouldn't necessarily do that, even. You know, if he likes who he's hooking up with enough.
So, what is the line?
Well, that's the line as far as I'm concerned.
So
When you do it,
if you
you don't
are
even it's not even
okay.
for pleasure. That's the thing. You don't even do it because you're tempted and because there's, oh, it's gonna be so good and I can't resist. It's more like you're just sitting around and like, oh, this guy really wants to fuck me. Like he wants
PG.
sorry. This guy really wants to have sex. No, he really wants to have sex with me. Oh well. Okay, well, fine. Okay, I'll do it. Like it's nothing, like it becomes like a back massage or something less than that, and I'm talking about like unprotected as well,
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
the whole 9 yards, the whole thing.
Okay, so is this common? Have you seen that people just do it out of just like
I
boredom,
have
habit?
I have met people younger than me who have got to that point, and I just feel like their limits are different, like they have very few limits, like they're into stuff that's a bit more extreme, like a rusty. This is probably not allowed, but but I
No,
don't
no,
care.
no, no.
I
Let's
don't care.
not. Let's relax. Let's try to
Like a
say it
rusty a
PG.
rusty trombone, right?
Okay.
That's not explicit necessarily for a lot of people.
Okay.
It might be. Anyway, like a rusty trombone, I think these days for people who are in their 20s is no big deal at all. It's almost expected, I think, among in certain circles. It's almost like, yeah, it's a standard thing. It's like, yeah, it's just kind of like making out for some of them. And
I
then
don't want to know what that is. Is that a
we'll
real
just think about
thing?
it. Use your imagination, cat.
I don't,
Use your imagination. A
rusty.
rusty trombone.
I don't want to know. Let's move on.
Imagine, the trombone,
No,
right?
no, no. Let's not describe it.
Well, you know what the trombone
Yes,
is. Yeah,
yes.
it's an instrument. It's the instrument that you play like that, right?
Uh-huh.
So if it's rusty, where
Old?
you mouth it, right, where you put your mouth,
Okay, okay. Let's move on.
let's move on.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that's nothing, and like, a lot of these girls these days, I mean, it's like I feel like half of them, at least half of them, are bisexual, and so it's just a lot more rock star than our generation. I think just a bit more.
Do you
It's
think
just
this
normal
is
for them.
good? Do
Huh?
you think
Huh?
this is good?
I don't know. I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's good or bad. That's why I'm asking the question. My question is, where do you draw the line? And where do most people draw the line? Where should we, if we need to draw the line together for some reason, where do you think it would be a good idea to draw it? Like, what do you think the line should be?
Well, I know that the more partners women have, the more likely they are to be depressed, have anxiety, and mental health problems. So definitely it's not good. It's a net negative for society in general. Um, Men sometimes like maybe they won't have mental health problems, but they might have a little depression or like apathy the more that they get it.
Well, this sort of thing might be cyclical. I think the drive in a man is so strong that he might go through that if he's getting too much and if he's all over the place, and but once he has some downtime, he'll be back to normal in no time. It's like any kind of addiction, any substance,
So it's
you
basically
overdo
an
it and
addiction.
sorry.
So it's an addiction.
I think what it is, like a lot of things, it could be anything. It could be like pornography, or it can be alcohol, or any substance. You go through a cycle. The more you take it, the more you trigger those dopamine receptors, the more pleasure you get, the more you kind of potentially, the more you may need over time just to get the same kind of high. And I think it happens to people with sex, so that they keep having to make it a bit more extreme. Well, we talked about this already once, and how
Hmm.
people, and you see it in pornography, how it needs to be just a bit spicier, just a bit more extreme, just to get people off. Whereas maybe 50 years ago, it didn't really have to be that spicy necessarily, that deviant. You didn't have as many. Yeah, it was easier to get off on standard stuff, I think, for people.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've seen, like, I don't know personally any of these things, of course, but just from what I've heard from, younger friends, what is expected of them is way more degrading than when we were kids.
There you go. So what's an example?
Things I can't say. Like, let's see. Oh, like the choking thing. That was not a common thing when we were young. I don't know if anybody even talked about that or did that. It would be like maybe some fringe freak who died in a motel with like choked themselves and stuff like that. And be like, oh, disgusting. How sad, how pathetic. But now it's like normalized. And I had someone on my podcast like years ago, and she has a website. I don't know if it's still active, for porn for women, made for women. And the most horrifying thing that she said was that women are searching for the most horrific, violent types of that stuff. The choking, the hitting, a little bit of blood, the gang bang type, more violent type of stuff.
Now, how do you think they get to that point? How do you think that happens?
It could be like a form of, I don't know. I couldn't even imagine. Just off the top of my head, maybe they've been so desensitized because they have it on their phone since they're little kids now. They've seen it maybe 6, 7, 8 the first time. And then that becomes boring and it's not interesting at 6, 7, or 8. And they can see it on demand anytime that they want, since they're very, very young and impressionable. And if you're before 7, that's when you're in like theta or whatever brain state. So everything is more detrimental before 7. So, and the average age is 10 now when they start. So they're looking at it, it's rotting their brains. It definitely changes the brain chemistry. So what you need to get off your dopamine, whatever, everything is going to be destroyed, as if you became an alcoholic at 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10.
Yeah. So going back to the original question, where do we draw the line? When is it too much? When is it unhealthy? To change constantly, to have, so many different partners all the time.
I think it's unhealthy when they stop being people and you no longer empathize with them. You don't think of them as human. They're just like a vessel.
Here's the thing, though. Some of these people, it's like they can get attached. They can still supposedly have feelings for someone. And yet it's almost like someone who's got an addiction, someone who's got a problem, and that addiction leads them down the wrong path, and they do things that they regret later on, but it's like it's bigger than them. They can't avoid it. And so they regret it and they hurt themselves. It really becomes kind of like that sort of addiction dynamic where they don't want to do it necessarily because they know there will inevitably be consequences, right, for the relationship, if there is any relationship. But they do it anyway because they can't. And who knows why, there might be complex reasons for that. But they can empathize with people But then there's this sort of dichotomy. There's this thing that happens, and they're split. They're torn, and one side of them says, "Well, I'm doing this right now, and I'll think about the consequences tomorrow." And then the following day, they really regret it.
Well, maybe it's just like a self-soothing, like this used to work when I was stressed or anxious. This used to help, so I'm going to go to this as a default, but it's not really the thing that it doesn't really address the problem. So when it's over, they're still in the same state.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's the sort of dynamic. That's the mechanism, right? And they might even be aware of it, but they still fall into it. So it's more complex than just getting to the point where you're totally desensitized and you don't see them as people anymore. You may still see them as people, but you got this kind of split personality that makes you do bad things, but things that are bad for yourself, because then they regret it.
Well, in my experience talking to people, the women tend to regret it more, but the guys don't tend to regret it.
Hmm. Sometimes I think it's twisted, like people do it as a way of protecting themselves. Like when they feel they're getting attached to someone, they feel vulnerable, and so they feel they need to go out and sleep with a few other people just to protect themselves and to feel, to remind themselves that that's reality, and they don't need just one person. They don't need to depend on just one person. They can get attention from plenty of people.
Well, I mean, yes and no. There's always an end date, especially for women, where the type of attention you get is going to deteriorate over time.
Right?
And eventually that happens to men too. And the enthusiasm, even like, let's say, imagine a really wealthy, successful man, but he's old. He's not going to be attractive to a young woman or whatever. The enthusiasm from that woman is going to be way less than if she actually liked him for the right reasons. So I don't know. It's a diminishing returns all around.
I'm not condoning any of this. Obviously, I'm not saying this is a good thing. Obviously, it's a terrible idea because, like, long term, especially. But it is a thing, you know. And it is. I think it is a trap that people fall into. And how do they get out? It's more and more common, I think. And how do they get out of it? I think a lot of it is they just have problems with allowing themselves to be vulnerable. You know,
So do
they've
you
gotten used
think
to this constant thing. Things change so often now. Things move so quickly, and you have this constant stimulation all the time, everywhere. Social media and like the way we consume media now, particularly the attention span has shrunken. Everything is much faster, and I feel that is reflected also in the way we consume people and we consume a lot of things, and that has a desensitizing effect. And I feel that people still sort of long for a situation where they can have something a bit more profound, but they can't handle it. They're like they gravitate. They're torn. I feel like they want to do that, but then they end up gravitating towards this sort of safety, the comfort of just being on this constant loop of new stimuli and immediate gratification.
Yeah, I mean, I have some friends that are kind of like in the loop of dating a lot of different girls, let's say, or even some that date a lot of different guys. And the in the beginning, like the first moment, the first day or two, they're all in. And then after a while, they're like, well, like they see somebody else online and then they forget about the other person, and they make up like problems with the first person because the other person is new. They haven't seen any of their problems yet. So they kind of like say, oh, this is probably better because they don't know. And also we have a lot of kids now coming from broken homes that they've never seen people stick around and go through hard times. They've never seen people deal with problems properly, or just like anything that like they don't like. They're just like, oh, I'm not going to put up with it because somebody's perfect out there. But there's literally never been a perfect person. So everybody has this like fantasy of this perfect person. And then as they get older, they can attract less and less people with less and less attributes that they like. And then by the time they finally break down and go, maybe I should try to find just anyone and just try to make it work with them, they're too old, it's too late. Or the people that they can attract are just too messed up.
So how would you sell it to them? How would you sell them monogamy and settling down?
That it's more important to have someone that will stick with you through the hard times. Shut up. That would stick with you through the hard times than it is to have somebody that checks all your boxes.
So loyalty.
Yeah.
It's good to have someone there for you.
Yeah.
But how do you know that someone will be there for you? How can you prove that? I mean, I think there's this, we're all so cynical, and we're all so cynical. It sounds dramatic, but we are cynical. We're a lot more cynical than maybe, I don't know, than our parents' generation. And rightfully so, because like, who can you really count on? Who can you really trust, right? I have yet to be proven wrong. Like, my cynicism, my so-called cynicism, really usually ends up just being awareness. You know, when people end up being less than noble, let's say, right?
Give me an example.
Well, you like promiscuity. I don't expect girls to be faithful, you know, to just be seeing only me. I don't expect that, you know. Even if they offer it, you know, even if they're like, oh, you're the only one, I only want you, you're the only one for me. I'm like, yeah, okay, well, that's great. But I don't I don't say it, but I think it, yeah, well, that's nice, but I don't believe you. And I really don't believe you. And if I were to say that, I would be accused of being really cynical and sort of, you know, cold or negative even. But in the end, it's always spot on. It's just like, yeah, she was just talking. She was just talking. It's just words. But in the end, her behavior is quite different. And she slept with my friend.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa, what's up, guys?
Hey, beating cheeks.
My stupid persona. I was trying to change it, but everyone just told me to go with it. You can just call me Berto.
No, I like it. I like it. There's nothing wrong with it.
It was from my gaming days, like my early gaming days in the early 2000s.
All right.
So
how much have you heard? How much of what
I just caught on to like the last part about someone fucking around behind your back, it seems.
I don't think we're allowed to say that. Apparently, Kat, is that
yes,
right?
we're on YouTube. Relax.
What do you mean? I can say the F word, not the
no,
wrong
you can't.
F word.
I don't think you can.
Effing around, I can.
Okay, but don't say the actual.
Not the actual other F word.
Yeah, relax.
Okay, obviously.
So
what are we talking about? What are we talking some shit about?
Well, the initial question was with promiscuity, where do you draw the line? Because you know, I don't want to slut shame anyone. I think we can all agree we're all against slut shaming these days. But
no, he can't. He cannot agree. But go on.
What do you mean?
That might be a good place to start then. That might be a good place to start.
What are you talking about?
Slut shaming.
Why are you okay with, like, why is slut shaming? When is slut shaming okay?
I think anyone has their own choices to make in their life and how it leads down that path. Later on down the road with their partner, their future significant others is going to be detrimental on that. So, do I love sluts. I like being around them, but I never want to be with them. Like, long term, that's for sure. Um, so it keeps me open for business, with the whole like being sluts and whores. But do I want to be with one? No, I don't want to be with the town bicycle. I don't want to have kids with the town bicycle. I mean, I personally don't want to be with a girl who has like more than a 3 body count. I know it's pretty crazy,
These
but
days, I think that's pretty unrealistic. I'm
oh,
sorry.
100%. Hey, women have, their own standards about what is it, 6 feet, 6-pack, 6 figures, and 6 inches. I think I have every right in the world for me to say I want an under 3 body count.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
if
do
she's-
the
maybe
women
she's-
get that? So are you going to get that? I think both the men and the women need to start
They're
compromising.
equally unrealistic. I think
Yeah.
for her to have such a low body count, she has to be 18 these days, and that's
Looks
already
like I'm going to
sort of
go
pushing it.
18, 19. That's what I'm searching for.
Oh my God.
You'd be surprised though. Like some of these 19-year-olds these days are pretty precocious. And
I know they're yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I've run into a few of them when I was in Miami. It was insane. I was like, what the hell? Like I know there's a girl that works on the Whatever podcast now with Brian, the Asian chick. I forgot her name. She's only 18, maybe 19. She already has a fucking 10 body count or some shit. Like she's like now in love with this dude that she's been dating for like a few months. Like in love. I can see myself marrying him. I'm like, bitch, you don't know shit. And then,
well, obviously that's like the initial reaction. That's the gut reaction.
of course.
But do you ever feel sorry for her? Do you think that she genuinely believes that she's in love and that she has feelings in that?
Do I
you
feel
think that-
sorry for her? I mean, I guess. I mean, I really don't care. She's definitely not my type that I would go after for sure. But I just my personal preference. But I mean, I feel, yeah, she's delusional a little bit. Yeah, I that's what I would say. I mean, good for her. Let her think that. Unfortunately, no one has gone in her path to like talk her out of that. Otherwise, I mean, I know if I ever met up with her, and if someday I'd be like, so you really think this is gonna be the last guy you want to be with forever? And you already have 10 dudes. I only had one girl at 19 years old, for fuck's sake.
Hey, relax.
But yeah, I mean,
What's the worst that can happen, Kat? Though, like seriously, what can happen?
What can happen about what?
If we overdo it with the cuss words?
I don't know.
she's not gonna be, dude. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and you can say fuck a lot.
Relax.
You just can't say the
No,
other F
do
word.
not. No. Relax.
On my Rumble, you can, but anyway.
Yeah, but we're not doing a Rumble.
I know. But anyways, yeah, do I feel bad? Sure, I do. I mean, that's just the product of our current environment and society going on. This whole like it's like a big feminist thing where it's okay to be a whore, slut, our body, our rules, our body, our choice, our whatever. And that's pretty dangerous ground, especially when they're going against the whole TradCon.
You're
Going
gonna have
against
to
the traditional
explain
inventions.
every single term you just used. He does not go on the internet.
Well, traditional conventions are basically, women to grow up to become housewives. That's traditional conventional, wisdom. They like to think that that's a 1940s, 50s mentality when it's really been, and biologically ingrained for women to be emotionally nurturing, taking care of the house, the wife, and kids, or being the wife and taking care of the husband and kids, being the submissive woman, because women have their strengths and just like men have their strengths and weaknesses. Our thing is, us men, we don't have that kind of emotional value that women can bring to the household, to their children, to their family. We're the ones that are hardwired we're ingrained biologically to do more stuff physically and also on a mental prowess that women cannot handle. That's why that's our strengths, and whereas the women's strengths are basically being the emotional value, that the whole nurturing, being just being a woman, a feminine woman, and that's what the society is killing off. This whole tradcon situation with this feminist movement. Oh, we don't need no man. Okay, well, if I had a girl, if I was on a date with a girl and I picked her up, but this doesn't happen anymore. But say I were to pick up a girl on a first date, and then she happened to be a feminist, but I'm trying to change her. But as Kat knows, I hate feminists. And say in the middle of the date or on the way there, say it's like a 15-minute drive, maybe like 10 miles, and then in the midway point, we're in the middle of like I don't know some lonely road, and then she goes, "Well, you know what? I don't need no man." I'm like, "All right, you know what I'll do? I'll stop the car, open her door up, and let her out of the car. She don't need no man. Why does she need me to drive her over to dinner, right?" So that's how I feel about that.
What do you think about that, Nick? Because he's a feminist. Go on.
Who, me?
Nick.
No, I'm not a feminist. No, I'm not a feminist. I'm not a feminist. I just don't want to be a hypocrite, and I don't want to have double standards. I just want to let people be however they want to be and not have to hide it. That's all. And if people are being brainwashed,
wait, hold on. Before you go, you want people to be whatever they want to be and not have to hide it. So like pedophiles too?
Well, we're better off if they don't hide
mental
that
disorder,
catch them right away. That's against the law, though. Obviously, I'm talking about things that are legal, right? Obviously, you can't allow people to be things that are illegal because they'll have the consequences to pay. Like they'll get in trouble. But it's great if they don't hide it because that helps us catch them faster. But obviously, I'm talking about less extreme things, right? So let's say a girl's quite promiscuous. Well, I think it's great if she can be open about it. I think it's hypocritical for us to. And it's going to happen anyway. If she's promiscuous, she's going to do it, except she's going to hide it. That's the only difference. I want it all out in the open. And then you decide, you choose if that suits you or if it doesn't, but I don't think I don't think society should tell people how to, if you know what I mean?
I get your standpoint on that. I understand your standpoint, Nick, on that. I have one of my best friends. He kind of thinks like that too. I'm trying not to, I don't know, say too much, but let's just say on his behalf, he's not, I don't think he's going to watch this, but if he does, fuck it. He's very sexual, highly sexual in nature. And he got married a few years ago, and his now wife, they've been married, a few years now? I can't remember, but she's been, she's been kind of ran through. They have a kid now. Let's just say that's not a good look. We basically we try to warn him, but he was under the impression or pressure, more like not anything else, because he thought it would be okay because one of our best friends got married. They were both roommates at the time. This was like many years ago. It's like years ago. And it was like almost 10 years ago. I don't know, maybe not that long. But anyways, she's been ran through. I knew like two other guys that ran through her. And he's a joke now. Like no one respects him. No one wants, he's actually he holds a very high position in the military now. Like he's probably the highest ranking out of all I don't consider her my friend. I don't like him. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say it. I'm not going to say his name though, but he was somewhat a respected, decent human being as a person before he got married to her. But for some reason, something got in his head to think that, oh, I'm married now, so I'm better than you. He would purposely call me out by name on that, sometimes because I was, I did what I want. I'm not going to settle for anything less. And why
get married though? Anyway, why get married?
Well, he thought he was going to be lonely. As soon as one of our best friends got married, he thought he didn't have very much of a choice, which quite frankly, he's not a good looking dude, but he's a pretty confident guy. He's never really had problems getting girls. I think he was under some sort of pressure. Maybe that's what I think, that maybe, oh, all my best friends are getting married. Maybe I should get married too. So he only literally hung out with this girl for like 2 times. And then he goes and deploys to the desert, comes back, and then he gets married to this chick. And meanwhile, she was here in America getting ran through the town again while he was deployed. And we try to tell him, but he didn't want to listen, and he's like, oh, fuck it. I don't care. It's her past. And I'm like, dude, that's a bad pass. And then, the good thing about him, the only like salvation that he really had out of that situation was he had military orders to move elsewhere. So he wasn't going to be the laughing stock in town anymore.
But don't you see how potentially that could be the case for any man who gets married? Potentially you're just trusting someone to not do that behind your back. You're always sort of at the mercy of what of how secretive they can be and how sneaky they can be and how good they are at getting away with it. Right. So she's not very good at it, obviously. But let's change her for someone who's really good at it, who's really sneaky, because those girls are out there and they are.
100%. I can whip them out though.
No, you can't. No, you can't. Stop. Full stop.
Who I am.
So what I would like is if you change the culture to make it like open.
That's promiscuous?
No, not necessarily promiscuous, but open about promiscuity so that no one feels ashamed. You get to choose, and people are more likely to be out in the open about it, and you can decide for yourself whether you want to be with a girl who's got a body count of in the triple digits, or a girl who's got just 3 or 4. Where just out of curiosity, is that really your limit? Like, what if you met a girl who had a body count of 4 or 5? Would you find that revolting?
Not revolting. It depends on how how she's been brought up and how she's been. God damn it, my phone. You hear that?
Yeah, what
anyways, me personally, okay. You know what? Honestly,
one number.
I would push it. Okay, I said 3 is my limit, right? I would push it to damn near 10 if she's like 28. 10.
But if it gets to 11,
no, don't get to 11 and everything.
Throwing up all over yourself if it gets to 11.
Not gonna happen, dude. I just can't. No.
Honestly, what happens from
those double digits? I want to know.
Okay, so it's a gradual thing, right? You're a little bit more disgusted the farther, like as you go from 3 to 11, you get a bit more disgusted each one, right? Each step.
Correct. I mean, why would you not? I mean, there's a thing called pair bonding, where a woman gets more emotional with every person that she sleeps with, and the more people that she sleeps with, the less likely she's going to be pair bonding with the next guy, and also it's going to be less emotional connection, and she's going to be more highly to cheat on you. And
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying anything. No, I'm not saying you're wrong at all. I'm not saying you're wrong.
So like you were saying, if you want to be promiscuous, fine. I'm all for it. You're right. Who am I to, I'm not judging them for what they want to do. I'm judging whoever I'm going to be partnered with what they did, because I don't want to be the laughing stock going across the aisle of a chick that been ran through. And I know you can know
even
that.
Even aside from how you're going to be judged by society, like for your personal taste, you're totally entitled to have your personal taste, to just go for the girl that interests you. You don't want a girl who's been around, who's slept with more than 10 guys.
This is my personal preference. That's all.
That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it.
So like what you're talking about is society shaming these people. If they want to do it, fine. I don't care. Like I told you, I love my whores. I love these sluts. I like it, but that's not my end game. I don't want to be with someone like that. Is there a double standard in regards to that? Of course there is.
But do you see how? Sorry.
No.
Do you see how having it? I'm sorry.
Okay, so because for me to have done what I've been doing currently, it's only been a few years, only because I have built my worth to the point where I can do that. Because when I was younger, I couldn't do that. It's easier for women to get laid than it is for us guys. I didn't even have any girls looking at me in my teens or in my 20s. And the girls that were looking at me were these disgusting beasts, Now I have women because I can take care of myself, and they know that I, do something with my life, and then that easily attracts these young girls. And then they want to try and, hop on that pogo stick. And then we'd be like, maybe I can lock this dude up. But they can't, because they have a certain way about them that I cannot stand. It's not even just the body count. It's their attitude, the way they carry themselves. They want to, want to be on Instagram all the time and they want to be on their phones all the time. I don't find that attractive, you know.
Okay,
And
but
then
I have a question now. Do you agree that it's better to live in a society, to live with a culture where they're probably not going to feel forced to lie about their body count, so that you know what you're getting?
if they can do that, that'd be great. Like, I don't care, man. Like,
Because that's the
come on
problem
in.
with slut shaming. Because if you have a society that engages in slut shaming all constantly, girls are not going to be honest
Lying,
about their body
hiding.
count. They're going to lie, and they can do it, and they can get away with it.
Right. Yeah, they can
They
get
can
away
get
with
away with
a stupid man for sure.
No. Don't underestimate girls. Don't underestimate girls. I mean,
No, they're smart enough to do that. Yeah, I'm not dumbing them down on that.
I think we should.
I almost got caught in that trap.
We should hear from Kat on that, because Kat is. I think she's a woman.
I hope so. Are you a woman?
I don't want.
Let me check.
I
am not woke enough to give a shit about assuming gender. I'm just mocking.
Whoa, bro! If you ain't woke, you going broke, bro. I'm so woke.
Oh my gosh. Anyways,
I can tell.
I have some friends that I've known them for like most of my life, and you would look at them and you'd be like, this is such a sweet girl from a good family, very homely, very likes to cook, likes to take care of everybody, likes to bring tea whenever somebody comes over. What do you need? Here's a pillow, whatever. Like those type of girls are just so like relaxing to be around, and you would never ever think anything of them. But on the weekends or whatever, they would go to clubs and go crazy and take home randoms, and at their job bring home randoms, and just a whole bunch of stuff. And you're just like, it doesn't match. Like the person doesn't match what they're doing. But the only person who knew about that was maybe like 3 other girls that we just happened to find out about that stuff. But it wasn't like out in the open. Like there was no connections to anybody else that we knew. These people were like separate from all the groups.
So they were schizos.
And like this one girl in particular, she married a very good guy with, strong moral values, and they have like 5-6 kids. And if I even try to bring anything like that up, she will kill me. Like it's a complete secret. So it's just like this, and some of them are just so. First of all, this girl is like a genius, an absolute like savant, like amazing. She can hide anything from anyone and completely look you dead in the eyes, and you'd never know it. And she's super sweet and kind and wonderful to be around. So her husband has no idea. Now, how does that affect him? He thinks he's got this great, wonderful, good girl that hasn't been around. He's super happy. He would kill for her. She would kill for him. Nobody knows. So at the end of the day, she was able to pair bond with him somehow. So maybe that doesn't always happen. She never also had depression or anxiety like most women nowadays do. She didn't have any of those things, and incredibly happy. I think like 10, 12 years already married.
Right. Well, I'm not saying it's impossible. Is there an exception to that rule about the whole pair bonding? Of course there is, but that's very, very small. We all know that.
Do you think it's like the stupid girls that can't hide what they're doing well, that they're going to have the more problems? Because if you're so overt about what you're doing, that shows more trauma. Like this girl came from like a 2-parent household, very
I wouldn't say
stable.
Stupid girls, more like intelligent girls.
More like
they know what they want, and so they're gonna go after they want, and then they're gonna get bored and tired of being ran through, and then they're gonna be like, all right, maybe I can clean my image up by maybe moving somewhere else. That can change. I mean, I've actually ran into a girl like that when I was in where was that? I was in DC, I think. No, I was in California. I was in Monterey, California, a small town about an hour and a half south of San Francisco. And this girl, she was moving from Pennsylvania to Monterey. She was only there like a year before I got there. But I met her while I was out. I don't know if Kat told you, but I don't do dating apps.
I didn't tell him anything.
Okay, I don't do
Wow.
dating apps. I like the cold approach. I don't fear rejection, so I just don't give a shit. If I see an attractive woman without a ring on her finger, I'm gonna go for it. So I met her when I was out walking my dogs in the town. If you know Monterey, California, it's this very small town. Like you can literally walk around the whole town in like within like an hour. It's very small, and everyone knew me within I think the first month I was there, especially with my loud dogs. But I was walking around. She also had a dog, and I saw her at the same place, every like Thursday or Fridays, and at the dog park at a certain time. And I decided, like few weeks after, I decided to ask her out. Went and ate some crepes, and then she made it. We didn't go home with each other immediately, but I was actually trying to like put off from sleeping with her, but I can tell she wanted me to make a move on her after just the first date, right? Because she went in for a kiss, and then it was my first time kind of like keep maintaining some sort of not moral code
Restraint.
restraint. Yeah, I was restraining myself from my natural aggressive behavior that I do in a consensual way, that I have to say. um and then after the third date, I decided, like, you know what, maybe I'll just cook some dinner with her, at my house. Maybe she'll come over with her dog, no big deal. I couldn't even finish chopping up the vegetables before she was already like naked in my room. I was like, holy crap. Did not expect that. We did our thing. We I started I wasn't exclusive with her. I was kind of like, I already had another girl I was already talking to at the same time with her. But with her, I sniffed out that immediate like bad past of hers with her actions, what she was doing, like the way, oh my god, like top notch bed, church qualities. Let's just say. I
Okay.
like to say, like, whenever I do my thing, I like to take him to church. That girl took me to church. That doesn't happen unless those girls know exactly what they're doing. And let me just say, that girl knew more than what she was doing. And then it showed more and more, and also with her attitude. Like, she liked to, have me take some pictures of her at the beach because
Oh my
Monterey has a
god.
nice beach. So she wanted to, like, she was gorgeous. But and remember, I have no social media presence either. I have no Facebook, no Instagram. All I have is Twitter for trolling. And then I would take some pictures because she would ask me. So I'm like, okay, I didn't care. And then I took her to a beer festival in San Francisco with another friend of mine who does have Instagram. And then I let them, I didn't let them, they just exchanged, like, Instagrams, whatever. And then he goes, damn, Berto, that's your girl, right? I'm like, I mean, not my girl, but she's cool. And then she apparently had like 50,000 followers on her Instagram, bunch of dudes, trying to comment on all her pictures that I took of her at the beach and stuff like that. I mean, I at the time I didn't really care because I'm like, well, she's not my girlfriend. I don't really care. And then I told her like a few days later, I was like, so you're big on Instagram, aren't you? She's like, yeah, is that a problem? I'm like, I mean, it sounds like you have a for sale sign, and yet we've been sleeping with each other. Are you sleeping with someone else? Because if you are, I don't want to be anyone's sloppy seconds, and we can just go our own ways. She's like, no, I'm not. How dare you say that? She got in a big attitude with me just questioning her. So she already had an issue with me questioning her, current situation, and she likes the attention. And she was like only a few years younger than me. I was like 32, 33-ish. She's like 31 or something like that. And then I just kind of ended things like slowly after that. Well, within like a week after. And then I go to a bar with one of my buddies. And then next thing you know, she's with like another guy. And I'm like, oh, damn. She had to hop on real quick. And she was getting all touchy feely with him, trying to make me jealous. And I don't get jealous. So I don't know what she was trying to like pull there, but it did not work because I already knew there was a bartender there I was already like sleeping with. So it really backfired on her, basically. But the point is, you can always sniff out, when a girl has that kind of like past, even no matter how much she's going to try and hide it, it's always going to come out no matter what. If you know them long enough, it just happens. They just can't hide it like me. I know I have some, past traumatic experiences that I have with something, and I have to be careful with that whenever I'm in a relationship, so it doesn't like just spill out. no matter how angry I would get at any certain situations. So I happen to restrain that very well. Thank you, therapy. But but yeah, it just everyone has a past, no matter what it is, whether it's promiscuous, violence, aggressiveness, or I don't know, whatever it is. It always shows in your personality with someone you become close to. So that's what I have learned, and that's what we have to accept. And it is what it is. Now back to the whole shaming on society, on slut shaming. I'm all, hey, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me any. It doesn't at all. I mean, do I agree with it? From getting a wife or a long-term girlfriend with, I don't agree with it. But I mean,
I'm glad it's not there anymore to the extent it used to be, because now everything's out in the open. Now I know who's really sloppy, like who's really out there, who's really dirty,
yeah,
and who I need to wear a condom with for sure, and who's maybe a bit more, maybe a bit pure. I think you get a better, maybe a clearer read of that these days, because there's no reason to. They feel there's no reason to keep it hidden, or less of a reason to keep it hidden, and I like that. Because before you really had to dig to find out, because they were going to hide it no matter what. They didn't. Nobody wanted to seem easy, like they got around, for girls anyway.
Yeah, for girls it is like I said, I can usually sniff it out pretty decently, but if it takes me a few days, I can definitely do it. But I'll know within like the first 2 or 3 dates if I'm going out with a girl, or if I'm sleeping with them.
Usually you can.
You just
usually
know, man.
get
You
a
just
vague
know.
idea.
You
Usually you get a vague idea, but you'd be surprised. Cat should know. You go, girls. There are girls. Most girls, you could probably sniff it out, but some girls are really good.
Yeah, I know
They're
some
really good.
really top notch.
It's like murder. There are people who get away with murder. Most
Yeah.
people maybe don't get away with murder, but there are those people who are smooth criminals and they get away with it.
And I hope they're like at least 5,000 miles away from that. I mean, look at Amber Heard. She's in Spain right now, away from America. Hide her that stuff away from her. But yeah.
What
do you think, Kat?
About
slut shaming? Do you think it's a good thing for society or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing.
Is it good that we don't have it as much as we used to?
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's good.
It's not good that we don't have it anymore?
Yeah, I think we need to bring it back. Yeah.
We have to bring it back? Why should we bring it back?
Because less people would act that way if there was more of a consequence. You're always going to have some people who are messed up, or they just want to do whatever they want to do, low impulse control. But it would just be those people. Now it's everyone. And when it's everyone, it kind of breaks down society as a whole.
Do you really think so?
Yes, I think so. But I think we should slut shame all sexes, all genders, everybody. Everybody needs to be.
How many genders are there?
5 billion apparently, but we should shame all of them equally for ruining society. I mean, if you are like an undesirable man or woman, nobody wants you. There should be whores available, both male and female whores, for those people to get something. Yeah, why not?
I do believe that if America legalized prostitution across board, I think there would be less school shootings, in my opinion. But
it's out of control right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, dude.
It's like never before.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're only covering unfortunately, like the white school shooters,
1%.
Yeah, like the one, and then like one. If it's one of the alphabet groups that do a school shooting, it's only there for like a day, and then it's disappeared off the newsstands, because
there's a greater issue. It's mental health in this country is completely tanked. Yeah. You got inflation, you got everybody's a whore, you got the girls only want the top tier men now because they have endless options because the internet destroyed dating. You got a lot of guys that are incels, like
me.
No, shut up. But like involuntary celibates that they're angry about it, and then they start resenting and hating women because women won't give them a chance. But then because they come from a single mom household, which is primarily everybody in this country now, they don't have a masculine figure, so they don't have anyone to push them to do better in life, to get out of the basement, to stop playing video games all day, to go touch grass, to go get a good job, to go to school and apply yourself and do hard things. When you only have a woman, and moms, I don't know if you guys can think of your moms, they would take their sons and put them in a box, a padded room, and keep them inside so that they feel safe and comfortable. That's what moms do. So moms don't raise men. They raise these incels. That's all
Simpy
that
ass
they can do.
guys.
Because you need someone like a dad to go kick your ass, and get you out of the house, and go yell at you and scream at you to go and do something with your life. A mom is going to feel so much anxiety every time her son or whatever goes and leaves the house that she'll be happy if he's sitting around playing video games. What?
It depends on the mom. There are a lot of moms.
Yes, it does. But we're talking about overall in general.
We're talking about the whole general population, not the exception.
I think 50% of men now that should be working age men, are being supported by their parents, mainly moms, because mostly everybody has a broken home.
Do you think that if there were just a little bit more hope, if it were just a bit easier for people to find a job, unskilled labor, they could just find a job, minimum wage, and if minimum wage sufficed for them to be able to pay their way, to lead a decent life, to buy a house, or even just rent a house, do you think that would be okay? Do you think things would change? Do you think it's gotten to the point, it's reached the threshold where they're like, well, fuck it, why even bother? There's no way I'm ever going to afford a house. There's no way I'm ever going to really be fully independent.
If you're a young man and you're just looking at the internet, you're looking at statistics all day, you're just looking, the economy, this, like, you can find 1,000 excuses to not better yourself, and it keeps you paralyzed. Whereas if you have a strong masculine figure, he will yell at you and say, get the hell out of my house and go do something. I don't care what all the losers are doing. You're not going to be one of them. Go do something. And that's what we don't have, because that's considered bullying now. And because it's a very masculine trait to go do that. So anytime a man does that, they'll get criticized for it. And if a woman does that, she'll get criticized because she's acting too masculine. So who's left to do it? The teachers aren't doing it. They're always like, oh yeah, here's all the reasons why you're a victim. That's what you learn in school. I'm a victim because of this problem, this problem, this problem. So then they internalize that I'm a victim. My mom wants to keep me safe and she's going to support me. I have video games and online social circles to keep me occupied. And bitches don't want you unless you're 6 feet 6 inches and
six pack,
all this bullshit, right? So they're getting that in their head. Meanwhile, people who were raised by strong parents that say, get the hell out and go make something of yourself, those people are mopping up everybody else. They're getting all the women, they're getting good jobs, they're making all the money, they're doing all of that stuff. And even if they're not top 10% earners, they're still making enough that they could get a wife and kids and all that stuff if they wanted to. Whereas people who internalize victim mentality, they don't even get out the door. They're not in the game.
Yeah, I have a nice example about that. I just did a data collection with these the hookup apps, and the one crazy one is called Seeking. You ever heard of that by chance, Nick? It's called Seeking Arrangements. It's basically, girls looking for sugar daddies, basically. And dude, that site is out of control, man. I get a different message, at least 5 messages a day. I would say 10. And out of those 10 messages, I have at least 7 of those girls cussing me out. Because on there, I lied about my income and I lied about my net worth on there, At first, I did put my actual net worth on there and my actual salary, but I had so many girls from just Miami itself just trying to get at me oh my God, you're so fine, boy. I would love to, see if you want to take me out on a date.
We get it.
Okay, that's what sugar daddies are, right?
Yes.
Now, the ones that when I changed my profile down to like I'm only worth like $5,000 and I'm on like $80,000 salary. That would seem like a backwards straight on that website because it's usually rich men, seeking out, women to, their
Yes.
company. And like I said, there's always women on there cussing me out with my fake, net worth and all that shit. They literally cuss me out saying, "Wow, you're really unrealistic on this. You're really delusional, thinking you're gonna find a regular girl on here, and with your standards. My standards is on there. I have like I'm looking for a wife, long term commitment." Basically the opposite of what these sugar daddy girls are wanting, right? So like whenever you search on this website itself, you can seek, certain types of girls. Like if I just put one, like say I'm looking for true love, out of like the millions of girls on that site, I think only like 5 girls within this, like in the States, has actual true love on there. And they're not the very attractive type either. Very rare. I would find that. It just tells you the standards that we're at. That regular.
These are not regular girls.
These
They're
are
on
not
seeking
regular girls.
arrangements.
I know. I'm just telling you an example of what a lot of these, standards and like that these women have. Like I can meet these girls. You can see these type of girls already in like these big cities like Miami and whatnot, Dubai and stuff like that. The point I'm trying to bring is it's the unrealistic standards that these mediocre girls have, and then these blue collar guys that are making $50,000-$60,000 a year have to compete against with the top 10% guys, when I consider those kind of guys in the top 5%, not monetary, but in a humanitarian way. Like at least they're given something, they do have a lot to bring to the table to bring a family and order and a nuclear family dynamic. So unfortunately these girls, we're in a society where, like Kat mentioned earlier, is ruined by social media, and it sucks. And then a lot of these guys, they don't have time to get on these applications to meet a girl. They only get what they can get in like small towns, going to like a bar or something like that, and it just sucks, man.
Yeah.
Standards.
I met a girl who had a sugar daddy. And
just one?
She claimed just one. She almost went back to it, but I don't think she got another one. I think she only ever had one. And she got so much money from him that she had a pretty comfortable lifestyle for a while, throwing parties every week and stuff.
Damn.
Did she have to do anything for the money?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Not as much as you might expect, though. She just had to provide the occasional sexual favors and just be there whenever he wanted. And then she had to end it when she traveled to Europe, and she stayed here a bit too long for it to be credible that she was being totally monogamous or whatever. Being his girl, only his girl. But yeah, I don't get that. I don't want to get that.
Dude, don't worry about it. I'm not even about that. I'm just doing it just to, mess around and finding out what's going on through these girls' brains. Like I'm trying to like dissect into the mind of these sugar babies is what they're called.
Yeah,
like I'm literally trying to get in the minds of like, why are you on this site? You're very attractive. Why are you utilizing your beauty for these temporary situations? And so, because when you become a certain age, you are going to want to have like a lifelong partner, and you want to be respectable still. Do you not? By respectable, I mean, you don't want to rack up your body count, right? For the occasional hookup. Like some of these girls were, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a pretty good salesman. There was one girl who just to meet, not even guaranteed sex, just to meet, $1,300. That's not including a dinner. That's not including
now tell me, how is that different?
For like 3 hours? It's like I consider that app escort site.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's prostitution. It's worse than prostitution, because at least with prostitution, you know exactly what you're getting. Whereas with that, it's like misleading prostitution. It's worse than prostitution.
Oh, 100%. I agree. I know for a fact. I did a whole like episode on this a few weeks ago, and I even broke down the numbers and everything. Even after like, you know, talking these girls down from thousands of dollars to like just a few $100, not worth it. It's not worth it.
Was this just an experiment that you?
It was an experiment.
decided-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never met any. I only met one of the girls, and I got her down for free. I made her drive all the way from Miami to see me in Tampa under the conditions she just wanted to meet me, and I was gonna like take her out for like a drink or two, which I did. And I mean, I took her to church, but that's besides the point. It worked for me because the reason why I think it worked for me because I actually have a little bit of personality that she's not used to because she has a Miami mindset. And if you know the Miami mindset, they are like a girl. She was beautiful. Like as soon as I took her to the first like nice little lounge I was at in Tampa's not as bougie as Miami. I took her to this bar and every eyes were staring at her. Like everyone thought she was a prostitute. Like it was just that noticeable. Like
Kind of is technically.
I mean, she is. I mean,
But
But was
high
she
class
dressed like a skanky?
no, she was dressed pretty elegant.
She's a high class prostitute.
That I did not pay for.
Right. She's a beginner. She's just warming up.
Oh no, she's had some sugar daddies before.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, she was very open about that.
What
She had no
kind of
shame.
numbers? What kind of numbers are we talking? Like
I told.
how much-
She was one of the ones that told me she was she doesn't do less than 1,000 per meet.
Wow.
Yeah, I met. It took me like a week and a half of hard negotiations, you know, for free. You know, free 99, bro. But only because she wanted a video of me, making sure I'm not some fat creep or nothing, you know. So like that's another thing. Like there are a lot of these rich, ultra wealthy like men that are like 40, 50 years old. They even have like up to 70-year-olds apparently that are like just disgusting, but they're trying to throw out like $10,000-$20,000 just to meet these, you know, beautiful girls. But this one didn't budge. I mean, she claimed she didn't, but I mean, if I was that beautiful as a woman and someone offered me 20 grand to meet up, I think I would take that without guarantees.
I felt kind of bad for this girl because I thought, you know, her days as an escort, you know, as a glorified escort are numbered because her breasts are beginning to sag.
No, she was 28.
He's talking about another
but it
girl.
doesn't- it's,
Oh,
you know, she's 26. This one I'm talking about. And I thought, you know, I felt bad for her. I really thought this isn't going to last very long. I wonder what she's going to do after this, you know.
yeah.
Because she's it really is one of those things that they can get away with, but it's those days are limited. Those days are numbered. And she can get away with it until she's 30 something, and then she's got to find a new way of making money. And this one is one of those. Like she had a sugar daddy, and I don't know if she went back to doing that. She's okay, but you know, not for much longer.
Yeah, there's a lot of girls that are on there like looking for what do you call this is when I learned these terms, PPM, pay per meet, and a lot of them also want an allowance weekly. You know what I mean? Like I was like, no. I just recently some girl immediately gave me her number within like the first like 2 sentences. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll entertain this just for the, you know, shits and giggles. She literally wants to give her $500 a week so she can make up for like her mortgage or her rent. I'm like, what? You're not even that attractive.
You know, I've heard of like on TikTok that like ghetto ass ratchet old with like 15 kids from different baby daddies, girls asking that of guys.
Oh yeah.
So it's not just like the hot girls.
This girl
how big is this whole thing?
It's becoming big, man.
Yeah,
because it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very, very big.
Not very big. It's getting there.
No, because it used to be a fringe thing, and now it's like super, super common.
So I'm kind of hesitant to broach this whole you know, like OnlyFans thing. I don't know if I should, how open I can be about it.
What do you
You know,
mean?
yeah, what do you mean? You can be as open as you want.
Just don't say any bad words.
Well,
Nothing
Kat, I think
explicit.
you were on there for a while.
I was never on there. Are you insane? Besides, that happened when I was old. Nobody wants to see that.
Wait, what?
Well, there was the equivalent of it before then. There must have been something like it before.
No, I mean regular sites.
What was the precursor to OnlyFans?
Pornhub.
No, I mean something like OnlyFans before there was an OnlyFans.
I don't think there was.
Okay, so you've never been on OnlyFans.
Are you freaking kidding me right now? Yes, I'm totally the type of person.
Well, anyway, what is that becoming a huge thing as well?
Yeah.
Amongst the young girls, yes.
Yes.
And now, can you explain to me why or how that's becoming such a big thing?
Because they've removed the stigma. Like you can't, for example, if somebody is doing OnlyFans, whatever, and they're promoting it online and their boss or somebody says anything against it, they can like say discrimination and get like money from their employer. Or they can, like, if somebody calls them out, they can cancel the person that calls them out. Or if anyone makes fun of them, they can get their account taken down for just saying like you're this or you're that. Like any sort of.
Now that explains how there's no resistance against it. But I'm more curious about the demand for it.
The demand is great.
Oh yeah.
Like we were saying, most guys are virgins, not by choice.
Yeah, but they're not going to get any by paying, OnlyFans. Like, what are they?
They know that, but that's the best they can do. And they want that connection because OnlyFans is not just look at the pictures or the videos. It's like you get to chat with them. Okay. And they get to fantasize like this is a real person. They know who I am. I'm not alone. There's more of an emotional thing.
By the way, Nick, it's not just OnlyFans that's doing that. They also have it on Twitch and Kick now. They have all what you call these, what is it, bathtubs and babes and some shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Kat, remember? Yeah, Kat, remember? Me and Kat did like a live video reactions of these girls live. They're probably on right now, Kat. For all
No, we don't want to do that because you watch it for too long and then it's not funny.
No. So, anyways, you don't have to have OnlyFans. That's the crazy part. They have it on Twitch now. They're promoting these half naked bitches that are
relax.
That's what they are. But anyways, they're not even like, fully nude or nothing, but they literally responding to all these guys. They have up to like 5,000 incels right now in these live chats.
I'll be right back.
Talking to these girls. It's crazy.
I'll be right back. Go on.
No, you're good. Makes me want to go on to Twitch right now, see what's going on.
So Twitch. What is Twitch? I don't know.
Twitch is another streaming platform.
What kind of platform? Sorry?
It's another streaming platform.
Okay.
Oh my god, I literally went on just now and there's a girl literally laying in a bed with 100 people right now just watching her just talking.
There is so a girl, I think her name is like Amaranth or something.
Amaranth, yeah.
Yeah, and she gets millions of dollars when she sleeps.
Yeah.
She continues streaming facing like her butt while she's asleep with no covers on. It's just like a shot of her butt sleeping. And people are throwing money at her all night long. And she wakes up and she's like a couple $1 million richer.
It blows my mind.
But I mean, can you hold it against these girls? Knowing that this is how easy it is. You can either like be a good girl and get zero money, or you can do this, be incredibly wealthy early with really no effort. I mean, she's sleeping.
I just got into another Twitch stream. Oh, it's called Pools, Hot Tubs, and Beaches. There's a girl, literally, she's not even that attractive, but there's 1,500 incels right now, and they're just chatting, gifting memberships. There's like $5 per gift. It is insane how much money they're throwing at this girl right now, live, just because she's in a bikini, and she does not. That is not a cute bikini. There's nothing cute about this girl. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned, I guess. It's just crazy, man. Women are monetizing off their looks. Cool for them. They can do that, you know. But the thing is, they're monetizing off these lonely-ass dudes. That's the problem. That's how Andrew Tate made all his millions, from all the webcam services back in the early 2010s. And he monetized off of lonely men. That's how he made all his millions.
What are these girls going to do when they get older?
Well,
I would say half of them
accountant.
are delusional, and they think, oh, well, I've increased my income every month since I started, and they don't understand that there's going to be a point where people will just get bored and move on. And the other half are actually investing so that they can retire.
Half? Oh, try like maybe like 10% of those girls are actually investing. Not even half.
Really.
You're being too nice. Oh my god, this is so cringe. I gotta like take myself out of this. But it is so bad. It's awful.
Let me think.
So where do you live right now? You said you live in France?
Paris, yeah.
Paris? How do you like living there?
Not bad, but a lot of the same kind of thing going on here.
Okay. I've been to Paris, what, 6 times? I think I started hating Paris after the second time.
Why?
The only thing I did like about it is actually the Lottery, the macaroon castle.
The what?
The Lottery. Ladare. I don't know. It's where they make the macaroons.
Ladare.
The macaroon shop. They literally make the macaroons from like scratch.
He doesn't know. He doesn't eat macaroons.
Oh man, I thought you lived in Paris.
I don't eat that
Paris.
shit. That's bourgeois shit. I don't eat that.
Oh man. Well, anyways, that's the only thing I liked about Paris. But other than that, every time I went there, I had the shitty luck of having really bad weather. And all the food portions were really not to my liking for the pricing. I was really broke though too when I went. Actually, last time I went, I had some money. Even then, I don't know. And I didn't like the people there. They're pretty rude. They're really rude to the girl I was dating too. More rude to her than me, surprisingly.
Where'd you go?
Oh man, I can't remember. The last time I went to this, dude, I got to look at my Google Maps, my history.
I mean, tourist traps, they're gonna treat you like shit.
I wasn't in too many tourist traps. Shit. The reason, and I was only in Paris like a total of like 2 days out of those 6 times I visited. I was usually there for like, a few hours during the day because I was either driving through, flying through, or I spent one of my New Year's there. That was somewhat fun, but it was so damn cold. But yeah, I just didn't like it.
Huh? Sorry? Kat just shared something. What is that?
Beaten Cheeks. Go put it on so I can put on the stream. Put this link. Do it.
No, I'm not doing no. I just started a few seconds of it. I don't like it.
I don't care. Put it on.
I wish this was my stream. Did I get the right one down there? No. There. This one. You see it?
Okay, make it big. Put on like theater mode or something. Make it bigger.
I don't know what to do. Is that good?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wait, no, it got tiny. Okay, there.
Thank you for the roses, man. Woo! Strong weight. I love hearts. Thank you for the roses, man. Oh my God! Cheers! Happy birthday! Thank you for the roses, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
this
the
goes on
roses.
for like a minute.
Fire! Cowboy! Dog! Hur, hur! Thank you for the roses. Happy birthday!
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know. Something her. I don't know. I think Kat has a problem right now with social media, and that's not a good problem. I think you're addicted to this TikTok crap.
No. Hold on. Do this one next.
I ain't doing nothing next.
Yeah.
I gotta get going here soon.
Okay, play this one first. This chick is making bank.
I gotta close this damn thing out. Crap.
Thank you, FX. I love you. I love you. Thank you, Jeanette. I love you. I love
Oh,
you.
yeah, I've seen her. Yeah.
Yes, you got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me run it, huh? Yes. Ice cream so good. Hee ha, yes. You got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me
Oh
run
my
it, huh?
God.
Fire. Grab.
I am so done with this
Ice cream so
shit.
good. Grab. Balloon. Oh, thank you, baby. Where's my white dress so it can match the flowers in my head? Beautiful. Hee ha, yes. You got me feeling like a cowgirl. Let me run it.
Oh my God, that was awful.
What is that? The
Cat
That's
is-
how
Cat is
people
a
make
fish.
money. That's how
This is-
the Gen Z makes money.
This is worse than Idiocracy. It's somehow more absurd than Idiocracy.
It's pretty
Yeah.
bad, man.
I saved it. I don't know where the hell it is, but there was one where like this kid, he was like doing these stupid noises and faces, whatever, making money, and people were sending him tons of money. And his mom comes in and starts yelling at the people who are watching him, like, you freaking idiots, you're ruining his life. Stop giving him money. He's never going to stop doing this stuff. He's wasting his time. And you should all be ashamed of yourselves. Go get out of the house. Get off the internet.
She's
That's
not
a
wrong.
song. Actually. That's a good song.
I'm about to go take my mother to dinner right now
All
because
right.
I'm a
have
good
fun.
son. It's nice joining in on this. Nice to meet you, Nick. We'll get
Yeah,
together.
likewise.
I hope we do this again sometime soon off of my platform so you can really say what you want
Sure. Yeah.
with Kat, obviously. So, all right, I got to get going. Nice seeing you guys. I'll
Likewise.
be
See ya.
back.
Bye.
Right.
So you got what?
That was interesting.
Yeah. We're still alive.
I know.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it was a new dynamic. It was all three of us. I think it was cool.
Yes. So is there anything else you want to talk about? You said you were going to tell me something cool. What happened?
That's what it was. Well, I mean, I can't be too direct. I kind of hinted at it, you know.
So somebody cheated on you or you cheated on somebody?
Well, it can't be considered cheating because we knew that it wasn't a thing. Like we knew it was only going to be 3 weeks, so it wasn't a relationship. It was just a fling from the beginning, and we knew that there was no point in being faithful, but you know, being monogamous or whatever. And but I was just surprised at the level of sluttiness. That was all. It was just like
Are you surprised in yourself?
No, not me, her.
Oh, okay, okay.
And she's also the one who had a sugar daddy and all that, and she's all kinds
And
of.
you were surprised?
No. I mean, I knew that she was a slut. I knew that she was, and I mean, she said so too. Like unabashedly, she said, "I'm a slut," and I knew there was no secret about her being a slut. But I think she took it to the next level. It's like the kind of level where it becomes a bit sad and you begin to worry, like you think it might be sort of pathological with her, and she might just do it because she has extremely low self-esteem, and like she doesn't even want to, but she does it almost like because I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Like an
Because then she
alcoholic, like someone who's addicted to porn, like someone who's addicted to,
But
I don't
she
know,
had no desire.
food.
Like, she did not like. She didn't like this guy at all. It's just he insisted enough, so she acquiesced, and then she felt terrible about it the next day, and she cried like like a baby. And I'm like, that's weird.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And then especially when there was no reason to keep it a secret too. That's another thing that kind of bothered me. Like she should have just told me right from the get-go, because we are not monogamous. There's no point in treating this like a relationship. So it just was really shady. It was just really weird that she slept with my friend, who I'm going to go on a tour on. Well, I'm giving too much information now, but it's like it was just weird. Like that was totally unnecessary.
But wait, what kind of friend is this? Like, why is it always
Oh no,
a girl?
I don't trust. He's not a friend. He's not, I don't consider him a friend. I don't trust that guy. I've never trusted that guy, and that's no problem. I don't give a shit. But just she did that, and that was just totally unnecessary, because if she had been interested in him, if you told me she was like attracted to him, then I'd be like, okay, well, whatever. Yeah, you just kind of you were drunk, you were horny, and you like him, and that's no problem. But it wasn't that. It was more like just reasons that are just weird, and like it's the kind of thing that makes me worry about her. Like I think she really is. She's got a problem. She's just either like she's and then she claimed that she did it because she's scared of how vulnerable she felt with me, so it was like a way to protect herself, which I don't know, that sounds a bit like BS, but it sounds pathological to me on some degree, to some extent. Girls who do this, I don't know. But anyway, it was a great 3 weeks. It was a really wonderful 3 weeks. I have no complaints. It's just she unloaded all this on me like the last half hour to it was like, whoa. She told me she slept with another dude right after we hooked up, and then she told me she slept with my friend, or my acquaintance, this dude, who I'm going to do a tour with in at the end of August. I'm like, oh, thanks a lot. Like that was unnecessary. There was no reason to do that. Aside from the fact it made her incredibly uncomfortable too, and it was awkward, and she cried like a baby later. Like it's just, I don't get that. I don't understand that kind of behavior. But but yeah, I kind of benefited in a way too from her sluttiness. Like we had a threesome.
Oh my gosh. Go on.
There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's
Okay.
threesome
Go
is
on.
PG. There's no cuss words. I'm
With
not
a
saying.
dude?
Sorry?
With a dude?
No, a girl. One of her students, who.
Oh, isn't that like a
No, it was okay. It was okay.
okay?
And it was wonderful, because like it was me and these two girls, and I obviously there's no way for me to get jealous of her when I literally slept with, I had sex with her student right in front of her, but she did too. She's bisexual.
Wow.
So obviously I knew. Also, I knew from the first night, because we hooked up the night we met. Like literally a few hours after we met, we were in bed together. And so obviously when that happens, that they're probably not the most prude, let's say, right? But then little by little, it was like, oh, a lot sluttier than I imagined. I knew you were slutty, but you take it to the next level, you know. And it was nice. It was good while it was me and them two. But then I didn't realize there was the other side. She's just slutty all the time. It never stops for her. It's an addiction for her, I guess.
Well, do you think it's an addiction for you as well?
Not to that extent, really, because I'll tell you why. Because I have to be at least somewhat attracted to the person physically. And she tells me she's like kind of revolted by this guy physically. And she almost did it out of almost like just like, well, why not? Whatever. Almost out of just because she didn't want to argue or like keep saying no. I guess he was insistent enough. I wouldn't do that. If I'm not attracted to a girl, it doesn't matter how much she insists. I'm not gonna have sex with her. I don't want to have sex with her. I'm not gonna have sex with her. If I'm not attracted to her, I'm not gonna have sex with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially not unprotected sex. That's just stupid. No. So no, I just don't understand that kind of behavior. Because I'm pretty promiscuous, you know. I have been in the past. These days I'm not as promiscuous as I used to be. But I used to be quite promiscuous. But I was always somewhat attracted to the girls. I wouldn't just pick up any old bag and, you know, whatever. I'm desperate tonight. No. I had to be attracted to the girl. I'd rather not sleep with anyone than sleep with someone I'm revolted by. Someone I'm repulsed by, someone I find revolting. What are your thoughts, Kat?
I think a lot of guys, especially the desperate ones nowadays, or the incel type guys, would say they're not picky, and if any girl gave them any sort of chance, they would take it. But I also think that they're kind of lying to themselves, because I'm sure no matter how desperate someone is, there's got to be a caliber of somebody or like a grossness where they would not want to do it under any circumstance.
What they're not aware of, maybe, is that they would have this post-nut clarity, and it might not be after the first nut, but eventually they would get to the point where all that clouded thinking from being horny would no longer be there. The clouds would clear up. It would blow over, and they would very clearly see that they don't have any real genuine interest in the person. They just exaggerated whatever interest they could have because they were so desperate. And then from that point onwards, they would realize that just not, they're kind of disgusted by the person. You know, it's kind of like breathing. You know, you forget about breathing. You forget oxygen until you're drowning, and then oxygen is the most wonderful thing. And you each breath is wonderful. Sex is kind of like that.
Oh my gosh.
It is. When you don't have it, you know, you notice it. You notice it's not there. But when you have it all the time, and you have it whenever you want, with whomever you want, you take it for granted, and it becomes pretty commonplace. It becomes like nothing.
So do you think, with the opportunities that you still have now, that you could ever find someone and be monogamous for the rest of your life? Or do you think that's like completely off the table and an impossibility for you?
I don't know if I would set that as the objective. I don't know if it would be something I would do deliberately. It might be something that happens just by chance, just by accident. Like I end up with someone I'm really happy with, and we just sort of stick together, and we forget to sleep with other people, or we just never get around to sleeping with other people.
I don't think that's going to happen. You have to you don't fall into that. You have to make the conscious
You'd be
effort.
surprised when you get old enough and and your lifestyle changes, and you don't seek it out very often. You'd be surprised at how easily that could happen. when you get, into your maybe 50s, 60s, you just sort of, yeah, it could happen.
I don't think for guys, it's if you're a successful and or attractive guy, I don't think that's ever going to happen because there's always going to be someone who's like, oh, he looks like he has money or he's very attractive. Or what guys don't understand is if you're with an attractive woman, it makes other women who are jealous of that woman want to take you away from her.
I
At least
noticed that
get
right
you.
away.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I picked up on that right away. I took this girl I told you about to this poetry thing I go to on Thursdays, and one of these young girls I told you I used to one of the last girls I hooked up with before her. She always goes there, and she saw me with her, and suddenly she remembered I existed, and she was all about me. The next time I saw her, this Thursday, I went alone, and she was all about me, and she was all flirtatious and touching me and feeling me, and it really is like that with some girls, like it takes another girl that they find attractive to sort of activate this attraction in them.
Because it's competition, it's animals.
Yeah, but it's short-lived because as soon as all it would take is for me to pick her over the other girl, and then that would be enough for her. It's all vanity. It's
yes,
all
but like
vanity.
yes. And a lot of girls do it because they don't want someone else to have monogamy or a good relationship. So because they feel like they can never have that, they make it a mission to destroy it when they see it in others. And that's
Maybe.
very common.
I don't know if it gets to that level.
Yes, it
I
does.
don't think they're that
I
malicious.
know people who do that and admit to it. It's like, I didn't even like him. I don't even want him. I just want to make sure she doesn't have it, because if I can't have it, nobody can have that.
That's so twisted.
Yeah, but it's very common. This is and
Be
people
conscious
don't
of that. 'Cause
understand.
I understand that being a subconscious motivation, but to be aware of it and to act on it and to not have a problem with yourself and to not acknowledge that you might have a problem, I think is a bit weird. I think that's a bit twisted, to be honest.
Yeah, it happens a lot, and guys don't understand. They think, oh, I'm just so wonderful. I'm just so wonderful. That's why, like, everybody suddenly wants me now. And or they think, oh, people noticing that I'm attractive because I'm with an attractive person. No, it's not. It's like, you look happy. They look happy with you. And the person's like, I'll never be happy like that. I have to destroy this. I have to prove that he would cheat on you so that I know that I'm single, because people would cheat on me, and there's no such thing as love and monogamy and good healthy relationships. I have to prove to myself that there's no such thing as a healthy relationship by destroying any relationship that appears healthy.
Yeah.
And nobody talks about that.
I that's so foreign to me. I just can't get that. I don't know. I don't get it.
I had a friend that when I got a boyfriend 100 years ago, they were so upset. And they were like, oh, well, those things don't work. You're just wasting your time getting a boyfriend. They're just going to cheat on you and lie to you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I'm pretty good. Everything's fine. And then they would send people like to the guy to go try to get him to cheat.
Who does that?
People, many people.
That's like pathetic. I'm sorry, that's pathetic.
But it's very common. Nobody talks about it. And people just don't want to admit that. I think people are like, some people out there, they're like possessed by some sort of demons or like severe trauma. And they have a contempt for relationships, for monogamy, for marriage, for people that look happy. They think, I'll never have that, so I must tear down and destroy everyone else who has that.
Well, I'm very happy for people who have that. I'm glad that they do. It's always been a personal thing for me. It's always been like, well, I just don't see that happening for me. But I've never made a judgment, a general judgment and thought that this is wrong, this is stupid. I've always just thought, I don't think it's good for me. I don't think it's going to work for me. But if it works for other people, that's great. I'm glad. I'm happy for them. Yeah. I'm just skeptical. I'm always very skeptical because it just strikes me as something that isn't necessarily the most natural thing for people to be, for a couple to last more than a few years. For me personally, it just strikes me as a bit unnatural. But I'm thinking about my personal nature, and not everyone's the same. I can't think the way everyone else thinks. For other
Well,
people,
what about growing up? You saw your parents.
huh?
You saw your parents still married.
That's different though, because they lived in a different time when it was very practical and almost necessary to keep it together for very practical reasons. They'll never admit it. They might not even be consciously aware of it. It might just be something that they kept hidden from themselves. But let's face it, one of the main reasons to keep it together back then is just because financially it would be a mess otherwise. Like, imagine having a child, getting married, and moving, living, buying a house together. You mess that up, you mess up your life. It is auto sabotage. You're self-sabotaging. You're messing up your life. You're messing up where you live. You're messing up a lot of things. It's not that easy to just who cares? The stakes are too high. I think the stakes were way too high for our parents' generation. Whereas these days, we're all relatively independent. Everyone's sort of living on their own anyway, or a lot of people are anyway. So you've got your pad, I've got my place, and we meet up and we can have our thing. And even when you live together, whatever, as long as you don't have any kids and as long as you don't share any assets, the stakes are relatively low. So yeah, our parents can make it, or my parents can try to dress it up and make it seem like this wonderful romantic fairy tale, but there are pragmatic, very concrete, pragmatic reasons for which they stayed together. They had to.
Yeah, but it's also a choice because
they deserve credit because they kept it together for us. They were great parents. They kept it together, and it was the right thing for us because we had a very stable sort of upbringing. And I'm very happy that they did. Not everyone was as lucky. What were you gonna say?
No, I'm just saying that, like, even in your parents and my parents' generation, there was people who got divorced all the time.
Of course, but at least they got married and they lasted like several years. And they got married pretty early on. Like our generation, who gets married? And of those people, how many people last longer than 5 years? When do they get married? When do they get divorced? Look at those two things. Do they get married? Because me, for example, well, let's look at my family. My parents got married, never got divorced. My sister got married, eventually got divorced. I never got married.
But after how many years?
18.
Damn.
And I never got married. So our track record, not so good. This generation, not so good. Our parents kept it together. Grandparents definitely kept it together. Well, that's not necessarily true. Because my mom's parents didn't keep it together. My grandfather was a mess. He got around. Well, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, is this just a stupid generalization to make?
Well, I think that people who don't get around do make it work.
People who don't what?
Don't get around all the time do make it work. Commit to it, like you have to make it a choice. You can't make it let's just see what happens. That's not a good attitude. Or thinking that it'll just work out if it's meant to be, or that you don't have to do anything to make it work, or that you can just kind of like trust it to always be there. Those people are lying to themselves. That it is a choice, it is work, and it is something you have to be all in, or then don't do it.
But there are still practical reasons to make it work. It's because you live together. This is your world.
What do you mean?
Right. You live together, you have a child together, that's your life. You know, you have to keep it together just because it affects you personally. You know, you can't separate the two things. It is part of you. It is part of your life. You can't sabotage that, because you'd be sabotaging your own life. You'd be complicating your own life.
I mean, yeah, but plenty of people do it. I just think that the people that I know that easily separated, they went in with the idea that if it doesn't work out, we'll just split up. They had that from the beginning. Every single time and again, whenever people tell me this, oh, if it doesn't work, we'll just get a divorce, or it'll be fine, whatever, who cares? Well, we're happy now. If we're not happy later, we'll just split up. When you have that attitude, it never works.
Yeah.
And it also matters if they prioritize the children over themselves.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are just too selfish to have children. They will be like, I'm unhappy, or I see somebody better over there, I want to try that. The hell with my kids and my family.
Right. So going back to the original question, you know, Berto said his limit was 10. His hard limit was 10, and it was between 3 and 10.
Yeah.
What do you consider a decent sort of realistic body count limit for a guy?
For a guy versus a girl? I mean, I guess
it depends on age as well.
Yes.
You need
I
to
would
look at-
say like per year instead of like lifetime.
Okay.
I would
So starting
say
at 15, let's say.
no. I'm not starting at 13. I don't want someone who started having sex at 13. No.
18.
16 is the oldest you can have anything.
The oldest or the youngest?
The youngest, yeah. The youngest for any, because if you've had it even younger than that, like I see a lot of trauma or like mental problems.
This girl I was telling you about, she lost her virginity at 13.
Yeah, forget it. No way. Like you don't come back from that. And I would say growing up, I know that the stats were 1 in 4 women was raped or molested before, you know, they were an adult or whatever. And you could see the difference by those women, how they were not able to have long-lasting, healthy relationships, more likely than the women who that never happened to. And I would say, just on my, witnessing this, the ones who had really bad relationships, almost always something happened like that. And the ones who had exceptionally good relationships, nothing happened. I'm not saying every time, but I'm saying overwhelmingly, you could just be like, oh, I bet nothing like that ever happened to you. And they're like, yep, nothing happened to you. Because they have no contempt for men. They don't have any fear of men. They don't have any fear of relationships ending. They believe in forever. They still have that fairy tale mentality. And they don't think of anything that bad ever happening that they can't work it out. And they just, because they're so positive about relationships, it makes the other person positive about relationships. And then it just creates a positive relationship. And that's just what I've seen. But when you have people who are scared, traumatized, negative about it, or they're always looking at the ones that didn't work rather than the ones that did work. Like if you're always like showing all the examples of this one didn't work, this one didn't work, that one, instead of focusing on, well, these people worked and this is what they did when they made it through hard times, those people are more likely to fare better. And it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy as well. Like what you focus on, you create in your life. You make it more likely to happen.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I have seen people destroy their lives because they start focusing on bad things and they create that bad thing happening. And I've told you examples, but it's very obvious. Huh?
I don't remember the examples.
For example, one of my exes, his mom was going through menopause and she started freaking out that her husband was going to leave her. Her hormones are all whacked off. She doesn't feel good about herself. I don't know the other issues going on. Maybe thinking in general, people who go through menopause, maybe they can't have sex without pain because they're still going through that transition, or they're in a bad mood and cranky all the time. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so cranky and I can't have sex without pain. My spouse is going to leave me. He's going to be cheating on me. And then they get those ideas in their head. So anyway, she started accusing him all the time of cheating on her. And then she went to his work and she saw a young, hot girl that he was working with. And then she started saying, oh, you're cheating on me with her specifically. And he wasn't. But then the girl was like, why is your wife always looking at me like that? What's going on? Are you okay? You don't seem like, you're doing well. How's everything? You can confide in me. And then down the line, they start having an affair. So would that have happened if she didn't do all these mental gymnastics to kind of make it happen? I seriously doubt it would have ever happened.
Right.
There was no need for him to confide in her. There was no need for him to get close to her. There was no need for him to explain anything to her if the wife didn't do that to him. So I see people ruin their own lives all the time. That's just one example.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost midnight here. I just realized I need to get up early tomorrow, very early tomorrow, and fucking.
Alrighty, so let's end it. Good talk.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad we got to do it in the end.
Yeah. So, bye.
So this is